My goodness, it has been some kind of year for signage in the NFL. Both good and, well, disgusting. So it was nice to see the regular season and its signs come to a close on a high note. Hello everybody, thanks for joining us. Welcome to Shut Up Football. I'm Jeff Stoltzfus, that's Kevin. Last week, the Commanders brought home the bacon. Someone badgered J.J. Watt. Chris Sims declared war on ESPN, and Packer Quay Walker acted like a big dumb baby. I heard there were even football games. We're talking about Week 18 of the NFL season. Can you feel it? Can you smell it, Kevin? No, not that. The regular season is over and we're still here. And it's barely news. The Commanders revealed their new team mascot, Major Tuddy. This little piggy went home for the playoffs. Maybe a better name would have been Major Disappointment. At least that reflects the state of the franchise. It's a bit on the nose to model their mascot after owner Dan Snyder. What's with the World War era helmet? Was Tuddy frozen in ice like Captain America and only recently thawed? And if so, can we put him back? Washington wasn't the only team without a mascot. 4 other teams still don't have mascots. Meanwhile, Cleveland has 2. 3 if you count Jimmy Haslam. J.J. Watt received a rather unusual gift in the mail. A badger. Not a stuffed animal. That's an actual badger that someone taxidermied. For reference, Watt played college ball at Wisconsin, which are known as the Badgers. At least, I assume that's why they sent it to him. Or maybe it's just the first clue in a dangerous game of cat and mouse with a mysterious serial killer. But probably the other thing. If anyone out there gets inspired by this, just know that I went to the University of Bags of Money and Boobs. It's an online school, but still counts. Chris Sims has a bone to pick with ESPN.
And you, SportsCenter Instagram, for putting it out again for the third time in 3 weeks. Off. Really off ESPN SportsCenter.
He's upset that they reminded him of a particularly bad take on Jalen Hurts, which I won't bother playing because it was a very well-reasoned bad take. Just a properly seasoned hot turd. But you did say it, Chris, so just own it. Instead, Sims chose a different path, going on a rant and calling ESPN scared little babies. He said, they don't want any part of me. And I agree with that last part. Raiders owner and barbershop victim Mark Davis, seen here being late for third period French, is reportedly embarrassed after Allegiant Stadium is being overrun by opposing fans on a week-to-week basis. Just recently, 49ers fans comprised about 75% of the attending crowd. Where are the Raiders faithful? Ooh, I found one! This fan was being booted from the stadium for holding a Bench McDaniels sign. And it's not just a one-off. Just the week prior, stadium security threatened to throw this guy out for his Fire McDaniels flag. They even confirmed the order came directly from Davis. When it comes to signs, Mark Davis has had it up to here. Just a thought, Mark. If you want more Raiders fans in your stadium, maybe stop kicking them out.
Mark Davis just lost a fan. Fuck him.
This is how Broncos fans are born. And that's barely news. Kevin, do you think people even know how to subscribe to this YouTube channel? Why don't you tell them while I drink this tall glass of definitely not vodka? And now it's time for the recap. What is the point of aerial coverage when you're in a dome? I can't see shit. Is this even the same day? Have the stadium hold up a newspaper. The Chiefs played Ring Around the Rosie, which seemed insensitive during a pandemic, but the only thing that died was Raiders fans' expectations. And maybe Derek Carr. We haven't seen him in a while. It looked like a play Andy Reid came up with while on a toilet. This game had all the hallmarks of a fuck around and find out kind of game. They even let Ronald Jones on the field. He scored a touchdown. Isaiah Pacheco did too. And then he went, swimming in tears. Yeah, got one! Mac Hollins debuted a sweet new move where he dove to the ground, then got back up and ran for a few more yards. Keep it up, Mac. Just another 80 yards of that shit and you're in the end zone. Behold, Jacksonville, the man. Someone tell Jacksonville to go home. We don't need a mascot when we're getting serenaded by, I want to say, Beef Van Cleef of the cover band Gun Cirrhosis. Like an after-prom hotel room, balls were flying all over the place. Scoring seemed almost accidental. Christian Kirk needed 2 receptions and 91 yards to unlock $1 million bonus. He got it! Now maybe he can afford to stop crowdsourcing his haircuts. Ooh, that one's squinchy. Josh Dobbs came out sharp and efficient in the first half, but he must have been huffing stale farts out of an old paper bag during halftime, because in the second half, it all fell apart. The Titans have fallen, which sounds like a Gerard Butler film. Where's the beef? We need a guitar solo. I chained him up and stashed him behind the Pepsi machine. Ah shit, the beef is free. It was a day of many sacks, like this guy. Deshaun Watson nearly got his face torn off, but there was no flag. I guess there wasn't a ref for miles. Maybe he has daughters. Cam Hayward was called for roughing the passer on a routine tackle. It sure didn't look like much. If you want to protect these quarterbacks, maybe it's time we change the rules of that position to two-hand touch. Watson's been pioneering two-hand touch for years. The game was nearly over when Watson was sacked again, and a Steeler mimed CPR. First off, impeccable. Your mime classes are really paying dividends. No notes. But unfortunately, it was deemed in poor taste because the week prior, a player went into cardiac arrest on the field and needed CPR just to not die. And I realize I sound sarcastic, but that's factually what happened. It was literally everywhere. Joe Burrow showed up to the game looking like White Shaft. Before the game, there was a lot of talk about a coin flip, so Joe Mixon brought his own and flipped it after a score. Heads, you get fined for this. Tails, you will also get fined for this. Anthony Brown threw a pair of interceptions. It led the defense to a roller coaster ride, and the little guys must have been tuckered because they all needed a nap by the second interception. Eli Apple found a big-ass coin. And call me skeptical, but I don't think it's legal tender. After the game, Burrow looked like he just pulled off a series of complicated confidence schemes with an eclectic team of grifters, and he loves it when a plan comes together. The Chicago Bears really wanted the first pick in the draft. Luckily, all they had to do was exactly what they've been doing all year anyway. Nathan Peterman got the start for the Bears. They put Justin Fields on ice. At least, I think that's him. It didn't much matter. The Bears' receiving room is a veritable who's who of what the fuck. Fellas Jones finally had a big play. When he was pushed to the sideline and squirted out for a touchdown, Nathan Peterman threw a pick after Chase Claypool needed a map to find his route. The defense turned into zombies after. If they were craving brains, prepare to go hungry. You're in the wrong fucking stadium for that. There was a lot of emotion in this game, so when Nyheim Hines opened the game with a kickoff return for a touchdown, everyone exploded. He did it again in the third quarter too. Jacoby Myers made an amazing catch. He got 1 foot and maybe half a toe down for 6. Josh Allen found Dawson Knox for a touchdown and immediately connected for their signature celebration, the E.T. finger touch. But which one is E.T. and which one is Elliott? Trick question, they're both E.T. No one wants to ride the bike when they could be in the basket. The Bills were never gonna lose this one. They were playing for love, and love will fuck you up every time. Also, fittingly, 3 is the number of touchdowns Josh Allen threw and the number of interceptions Mac Jones threw. This isn't a football score, it's a June birthday. Skylar Thompson versus Joe Flacco. This game was so bad even touchdowns wanted no part of it. All the action went to the kickers and punters. It was like watching two boxers with both arms tied behind their backs try to fight. The Dolphins squeaked into the playoffs in an embarrassing fashion. Garrett Wilson escaped 5 defenders before face-planting under the crippling weight of this metaphor for the Jets season. Something went wrong with the Dolphins' communications. McDaniel was getting interrupted by horny truckers looking for biscuits. Meanwhile, his tech guy was listening to Tua's concussions echo from a helmet like a seashell. This game ended 6-9. Or, that's what Big Football wants you to believe. Despite the screen telling my face holes otherwise, they tacked on another 2 points posthumously. They said the final play of the game was a safety, if you say so, nerd. In the locker room, Coach McDaniel was met by a single-serving Gatorade bath. The recession is here! Cutbacks across the board. Stadium hole! Desmond Ridder made some very impressive throws in this one. He got his first touchdown, and his second. You've heard of a no-look pass? Ridder went with a no-throw pass. Very next-level stuff. He fumbled the ball for no particular reason outside of chaos, and the defense took it the other way. They celebrated by rowing their boat, a boat that was still able to sail to the playoffs, despite all the speed bumps this year. Does the ocean have speed bumps? Manatees, I guess. And mermaid corpses. Tom Brady pulled out early, the first losing season of his career. They didn't need this one, and the Falcons were all too happy to take it. If only the Falcons could have played against every team's second and third stringers. The perfect season. Sam Darnold completed 5 of 15 passes, fumbled, and threw 2 picks. So yeah, they won the game. Sam Darnold fumbled the ball on the 1-yard line, and a guard fell on it for the touchdown. Deontay Foreman and Marcus Davenport were ejected for acting a fool. Yeah, punch the guy in the helmet. Solid choices all around. Interim head coach Steve Wilks might not be coach of the year, but he deserves something for winning anything with this carousel of sadness. Do you even remember Matt Rule? It's like Superman flew backwards around the planet and changed the timeline. The Texans helped Zach Moss make a highlight reel. He had over 100 yards and plowed through contact like Marshawn Lynch. A Colt forced a fumble from his own teammate, which was a special kind of stupid I've never had the pleasure of witnessing before. Davis Mills tossed a prayer ball, and somehow it worked. I'm sure Lovie Smith is a lovely man, but his jeans buttons must have ricocheted off the moon after his massive balls compelled him to go for 2. They converted and got the win. Lovie was fired, but at least he can hold his beard up high. He didn't lose to Jeff Saturday. Brock Purdy was at it again. 3 touchdowns on the day. 2 went to George Kittle. This game was as meaningless as Cliff Kingsbury's tenure with the Cardinals, except to J.J. Watt. It was his last game before riding off into the sunset and purchasing a Subway franchise or starting his DJ career. Who knows where these guys go? Watt grabbed a couple of sacks, got a standing ovation, and left the game forever. The Cowboys wanted to end this season with a bang. Instead, it was a whimper, muffled under the pillow by a Commanders team playing for nothing. 5th-round rookie Sam Howell finally saw the field and outplayed Dak Prescott. Howell scored 2 touchdowns, though really, 1 would have been sufficient. Dak Prescott tossed a pick 6. The Cowboys backed into the playoffs, and it felt less like a smooth moonwalk and more like running backwards through a cornfield naked. Carson knows what I'm talking about. Coach Rivera said, "We feel like we're headed in the right direction," which is weird because that direction is the off-season. Geno Smith ran full speed into an out-of-bounds defender and drew a flag on the defender. It's one of Geno's many tips in his new best-selling book. DK Metcalf got involved, and Jalen Ramsey took it pretty well, flopping to his back because why anything? The Rams' Quentin Lake picked off a pass, but immediately remembered he wasn't a receiver and lost his damn mind and the ball. Baker Mayfield went deep, but the ball was about 6 feet, or one Baker Mayfield too short, and was picked off. Jalen Hurts returned to save the postseason, and that's just what he did. Barely. The Eagles went conservative and leaned on players like Boston Scott. The Giants rested their starters. It was Davis Webb's first pro start, which didn't look so great for 3 quarters. But then, in the 4th quarter, Webb got a fire under his ass that no hemorrhoidal cream could suppress. He trucked a rookie defender up the middle for points, then threw a perfect ball to a well-covered Kenny Golladay for a touchdown. You heard right, Kenny fucking Golladay. The Eagles got the #1 seed and the bye. Go Birds! In a show of solidarity and respect for injured player Damar Hamlin, both teams' number 3s met at midfield before the game. However, if you were watching on mute, it could have easily been mistaken for a good old-fashioned man-on-man prayer fight. Get him, Russ! Perhaps this is how we'll handle overtime in the future. Based on what I've seen on social media, I have to believe Wilson has the edge. But then again, an entire Broncos season shows otherwise. Whatever sacrifices were promised worked. Russell Wilson had 3 touchdowns and got the win. Latavius Murray went over 100 yards again. Jerry Jeudy had 5 receptions for 154 yards. The defense was punching balls. Baron Browning got sexy, and I didn't see a flag. Holy cow, they actually rode. This game started weird and only got weirder.
First swag Kazakage, leader of the hidden village of the Den.
Jamal Williams had 2 touchdowns. He broke a single-season touchdown record for the franchise, held by Barry Sanders. Kirby Joseph picked off Rodgers for the 3rd time this season. Aiden Hutchinson sacked Rodgers twice.
I'm a pterodactyl.
No, he's not. Nobody validate him. This game was tighter than a nun's balloon knot. But the game truly turned when the Packers defense mentally and collectively shat the bed and then rolled around in it and went back to sleep. Rasul Douglas was called offsides after he tried to take his ball and go home. Jaron Reed tried to take DeAndre Swift's head off. Quay Walker shoved a member of the Lions training staff. And curiously, Devontae Wyatt felt compelled to bump him too. Walker was ejected.
Unsportsmanlike conduct is disqualified.
Oh, fuck, here he comes. The second time Walker was ejected this year. If only he could have been met in that tunnel by Mean Joe Green with a Coke and a smile, instead of followed by a trainer who likely took his belt and shoelaces for safekeeping. The Packers missed the playoffs. Rodgers said he didn't know if this was his last game in Lambeau. I swear, Jordan Love is gonna wither away on that bench like an untouched houseplant. After the game, a very emotional Jamal Williams spoke.
I'm grateful to be able to play this game for my great-grandfather, and I'm glad that he's looking down on me. I know I'm making him proud.
You said this ball's for him?
Yeah, this is for him.
But then, a switch got flipped.
We the Detroit Lions. We the Detroit Lions. Stop playing with us. I don't even watch TV, but I heard everybody already picked the Packers over us. Stop playing with us. That's all I gotta say, man. Don't let these tears fool you. There's all dog around this mug.
And that's our show. It's been a heck of a season. We laughed, we cried, we complained about the YouTube algorithm together. Actually, I can't complain. Last season, it was just me and Kevin screaming into the void. This season, we found a little community. Thanks for all the kind comments and for watching. I hope we brought a little bit of levity to your day. The season is over, and so is the weekly roast, but Shut Up Football continues. We'll be back with more content soon. Fantasy football, the combine, I'm cooking up something about mascots. There will always be more Shut Up Football. Until there isn't. Thanks for watching. Peace!
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Click the like button and subscribe. So I did say that already. And the bell. Also, the bell. And then there's like a third thing. There's a... If that wasn't funny, I'm doomed. The beef is free.